Today we're going to look at how to get your sermon captions and translations into your church screen via ProPresenter. I'm going to show you two different ways to set it up. One way is going to be real simple, and another one is going to be more technical and complicated, but gives you a bit more control. Let me show you how we're going to set it up. The simple way is easy. We sign up to Glossa, we get our link to our service, and whenever we start streaming, we create a prop in a ProPresenter and we embed it there. And we show it then later on the big screen. The more complicated way is we're going to use ProPresenter API to integrate our system, and we need to have a middleware somewhere where webhook is going to send the information, which is we're going to use n8n for this. And n8n is going to adapt it, connect to our computer via API, and send this message to a ProPresenter. First of all, we need to sign up to Glossa. Glossa is a #1 real-time AI translation service for churches and events, and they do have nice features like RTMP streaming, voice cloning, and a webhook integration with different software for presentations. The pricing is also very good, $5 per language per hour, or you can subscribe to different plans. Again, the webhook integration is only available for advanced and premium customers. So we go ahead and we create an account with a simple registration. We go to our dashboard. On our dashboard, you can see a service, and we go to one of the services. Here, before we start streaming, we're going to go to Advanced Settings, go to iframe integration, and here we are given an iframe URL to use for our service. But it has a little bit of trick. You need to change this URL a little bit to adjust it to your presentation. So we copy this URL now, and we go to our ProPresenter here, and we create a new prop. So we go to the props, we create a new prop. I already have it here. So I go to edit it, and here I can click on this world icon that will embed a page into your presentation. I already have it embedded here, so I'll remove this one. So when you go here, you need to check the fill button and select that it's going to be using the web address, and you paste this web address that you have just copied from Glossa. You change the iframe to, here you will have iframe, but you change it to embed, and then later we need to pass a few parameters through this URL into our prop. And this also is explained on our website. I will attach the URL to this article below the video, so you can see all the different parameters that you can use to adjust the settings. So for example, here, let me show you. Here's our URL. And we see that I can configure the language. I can switch it to Russian, for example. I can set the background to be a different color, and I can set the text to be also a different color. You need to know the numbers of those texts to use this type of things. So here you'll see once the text is transcribed, okay, then it will be sent to translation, and you will see the translation appearing in this iframe. Here, the text is translated. I can change the language to, let's say, Japanese in one of those get parameters. And so the next phrase that we're going to see is for Japanese. This is helpful if you want to have on the same screen several languages translated at the same time. So you will have Russian, Spanish, and whatever else is there. So we have this URL that we configured. It starts with embed and then some parameters that are helping us see how it's going to look, helping us configure how it's going to look. And you paste it here in this field. You click enter, and your prep is ready. So everything that I say here is being translated and captions are shown. So we can go back to our presentation and we see that as we switch our slides in a presentation, the prop is still there and the text is still being translated. Okay, that's a very simple way to set it up. There's not much customization to it, but you can play around and I'm sure you can find something. We also will be improving this functionality all the time, so stay tuned. The second more technical way of how to have captions shown on your presentation on a big screen in your church is to set up this type of system. We have Glossa.live. And in Glossa, we're not using iframe integration, we're using a webhook integration. This webhook, we are telling Glossa where to send the data about our service. And so we have this webhook. Glossa is constantly, every time it receives a translation, it sends this ping signal to our webhook. This webhook is set up in n8n for us, and so it's received by n8n. Then we need to send this signal to our ProPresenter. The problem is that your computer probably doesn't have a web address connected to it. And so we use a tool like ngrok to set up on your computer that will give your computer a unique URL, and you can send the signal to this unique URL. Then ProPresenter API receives that signal and displays the message on the screen. So let me show you how it's done now. In ProPresenter, we have, you can go to here, settings, network. And when you open a network, you can see that here's the network is set up, it's enabled, and you can set up a password if you want. You can click on API documentation. So when you click on this, you will see that ProPresenter API on your computer is working. This is the port it's using by default. And so here we can test it. For example, let me see, messages. Where is our messages? So let's say get current messages that are used in this presentation. So we go execute. And so we have two messages currently set up in the ProPresenter, which is translation and a translation Russian language. So we go here. We see that API is working. It's all good. We click on this thing called messages. And in messages, we have two different messages set up. One for, let's say, Spanish translation, another one for Russian translation. That's all we need. We will be, via API, we will be showing this message and changing the text of this message. So this is a basic logic. When we go to n8n, here's our n8n integration, we create the first incoming webhook. And so we get this URL, for example, this one, the production URL. And we need to go back to Glossa, stop our streaming. We click on advanced. We go to webhook integration. We enable webhook integration, and we type in this URL that we just got from n8n. So this URL is received, is typed in here, and whenever this is enabled, text translation, great. We need Russian, and we need Spanish. Okay. Data webhook. This gives us the way this webhook will receive our information. So we save those settings and we start streaming. So we save this, we receive the execution, and so our text is being received now. Every time that it's finalized, you see we receive the webhook trigger. Okay, it is happening. It's happening. Every time I say a phrase, I receive this webhook integration. Very good. So this is working for us now. We can take one of those integrations and we can start working with it. We see what we receive. Here's original text. Here's a translation into Russian. And here's a translation into Spanish. It's a timestamp, sequence, and everything like that. The next thing is that we need to assign to our computer a unique address. There's a service called ngrok, and this service can be installed. It's free, and it gives your computer a unique web address. So here, for example, we start ngrok, and we know that the ProPresenter API is using this port. So all we have to do in terminal is say ngrok HTTP is the protocol that we're going to be using for transferring, and then we paste in the name of that port that we want to use in this setup. Here, session is set up online. Everything you see is being triggered, received, and this is the address that we are getting here. Allison unsuffocated crushedly. So okay, it is working. We take this address, we go back to n8n, and we type it in here. Yeah, here is this address. And we're trying just to get the messages that are currently set on the computer. So we get it. Then we filter out just the one that says translation. Or you don't have to filter out. You can use, if you want to send a translation onto one screen to several different messages, you can go ahead and do it here. And so, yeah, you see it's already working. Let me disable the prop here. I'll turn it off for now, and we'll just use the messages. So then we're setting a new message. We're taking the current message that we have, and we are giving it a new text. Here's the English translation, and welcome to, no, this is not a translation. We need to take information from our webhook, and we're gonna send a Russian text to that message. Okay, execute. There you go. So we need to then clear the previous message. So we clear the old message. Here's the signal that you need to send. Again, I'm going to upload this n8n automation for you, so you don't have to write it from yourself. But if you're doing it in any other software, go to Claude, give him this automation and say, hey, write it to me in Python or whatever else, and he'll replicate this logic. So we clear the previous message by the ID of that message, and then we edit the message. Okay, we edit the message. So we change the text now of our message that is needed to be different. So here the message is having a next text. And the last call is to show this message. So here. So that's how it works. It's a bit more complicated, but here with the messages, you can have more control of how it's shown, how often it's going to be changed, and all those things can be now adjusted. So here, if you want, you can change the theme of it. I don't know. There's plenty of different themes, but let's say I want to change it into this. You can have a transparent background. With embedded option, there is no way to have a transparent background. So yeah, okay, this is what I need to edit here. For example, I want it to be, yeah, this way. Or I want it to be this style. So again, you can adjust, you can do your logic, and you can have more control when you're using API of ProPresenter. I think that's it. I don't know if there's anything else. If you have any questions, leave them in a comment, reach out to us. I'm Anton, I'm the founder of Glossa. We're trying to create the best software for AI translation in a church, and I hope you sign up. I hope you give us a try, and I hope it helps your ministry to reach international community in your city. Thank you guys for tuning in.